Welcome to Rooster Radio, a broadcast dedicated to supporting and promoting local artists in the Gaston County and surrounding areas.
What's up, everybody? I want to tell you about a few upcoming shows we have here at the Rooster. Friday, August 1st, we've got Rise of the D. That is a Tenacious D tribute. Can't wait to see that. It's going to be a lot of fun. And then the very next day, the 2nd of August, we have the Wet Hot Punk Rock Summer 2025. This will be our third year hosting this event. It's kind of a Warped Tour vibe show. Water Culture is going to be headlining the show. And then we've got a bunch of other bands. We got food trucks. We got vendors. It's going to be a real fun day. All-day event. You can get more information on our website. And then what else we got? August 7th. On Thursday, August 7th, we've got Pretty Tied Up. That is a Guns N' Roses tribute. This tour they're doing the full album Appetite for Destruction from start to finish. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Fury 58 will be opening that show. Shout out to the boys in Fury. And then August 8th, we've got a really fun horror metal night with Prowess, Midnight Massacre, Late Night Zero, and our buddies in Graveyard Boulevard. That's going to be a really fun night. August 9th is going to be an intimate evening with Sam Birchfield. He's touring all over the country right now. I think he's in California as we speak, but he'll be here on Saturday, August 9th. Then on the 15th, Friday the 15th, we've got Storm and Norman Experience with Tangerine Trees. Storm and Norman does a lot of hits from the 60s, 70s, and even into the 80s. Tangerine Trees is a Beatles tribute band, so that's going to be a lot of fun. And then don't forget about August 16th, yours truly here, Ariel. It's going to be her birthday party. We've got Salamander X on that one. We've got Oh You Pretty Things opening the show. And then sandwiched in between, we've got Black River Rebels and Fury 58. Boy, those guys just can't stop playing here, can they? And then toward the end of the month, on August 29th, we've got Nookie, the Limp Bizkit tribute. That is going to be a wild show. You know, a lot of people don't know Fred Durst is actually from Gastonia. So it'll be his music on stage here in his hometown, just without him singing it. It'll be a good time. And then August 30th, we got a heavy metal show with Valor Morgulis, Terra, Untied, and Decrement. And we've got a lot more stuff going on, but those are just a few things coming up in the month of August here at the Rooster. For more information and for tickets, go to roostergastonia.com/events. Peace and love.
I'm so...
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Rooster Radio. I'm here with Ariel. Say hi.
Hey!
And producer Ron in the producer's chair.
Hello, I'm actually can be seen on camera for once. I exist.
That's right, you do exist, and we appreciate you very much, Ron. So this is a little impromptu episode because Rooster Radio, we have a big announcement, okay? Let's let the cat out of the bag right up front. Drum roll. We're getting syndicated, y'all. We got picked up by WDRB Media. They are a nationally syndicated broadcast company based out of Charlotte. They broadcast all over North America. And we're going to fill their Monday 10 p.m. time slot. So going forward, you can catch Rooster Radio on WDRB Media on Apple. You can go to their website. There's a few other... TuneIn app, yep, Streamer, several different apps. So what that means is we got to stop cussing. That's what it means. Right, guys?
Yeah.
Or I gotta bleep you if you cuss.
That's right. That's what we pay Ron for, to bleep our cuss words. And for those of you that are hearing us for the first time, going forward, what you're going to see is you're going to see us interview and have conversations with artists, musicians, promoters, local figureheads, and local leaders. Anybody that we find interesting in the art space here in the community in Gaston County, Charlotte, North, South Carolina, Southeast region. We've done almost a couple hundred episodes already. You typically use the show to promote shows that are coming up, but now we're extending our reach out to a national audience to let people know, hey, we're here. We've got some great, super talented people here in Gaston County and in the Charlotte Southeast region, and we want you to know about it.
Yep.
And if you're ever passing through, drop in here for a show. Ron's been producing the show for a while now.
Yeah, it's been fun. I've enjoyed the opportunity to be able to produce the show. I started out as this was my internship going through the audio video program at Gaston College. I now actually work in that program there at the college as the equipment manager, but I've continued on here, and it's just been a great opportunity to keep my skills fresh as far as editing goes, and I've had a little bit of fun with it too. There's a few episodes where I've thrown some funny things in there. At least I think they're funny. I don't know if anybody else does.
It was just like
a
phantom voice in the background, though.
Yeah, I was that one episode about Lord of the Rings.
Yes.
Yeah, Ron does get creative, and we encourage that. We encourage creativity here, and I couldn't be more grateful to you, Ron. Like he said, he started out as an intern, and brought him in, didn't know what to expect, and lo and behold, here he is on the show.
Yep, I'm on the show. I'm here. I'm speaking. This is like, what,
The longest?
third?
Now we're not going to be able to shut him up.
Yes. And you know what? This is also the closest I've ever sat around to.
And then let's introduce the lovely Ariel as well.
Hi.
So Ariel, it's funny. I met Ariel. She was vending an event that I went to. This was before we got the Rooster open, and we talked, exchanged information, invited her to be a part of an event that we hosted before we opened, and yada, yada, yada. Now she's everything. She's the stage
The rest is
manager.
history.
She's the co-host of the show. She's a social media manager, and she runs our vendor markets. And I couldn't do what I do here without you, Ariel, so
Aw.
thank you for that.
Absolutely.
Anything else you want to tell the audience about yourself?
I mean, he just did. And I occasionally get to be Michael when Michael needs time off, so that's always fun. Everybody's like, "Where's Michael?" I'm Michael tonight.
Every once in a while. It took me a couple of years to take a night off at this place, and you're sitting there listening, wondering, what in the world is the Rooster?
Yeah.
What are these guys talking about? Well, the Rooster, what we are is we're a venue in downtown Gastonia, North Carolina. And what we do is we host arts events, mostly live music. So we do concerts, but we do a lot more than just live music. We host an open mic every week. We do a folk night once a month. We have the Misfit Market is a vendor market that we host on the first Saturday of every month. Gives local artisans and creators and crafters an opportunity to set up and sell their stuff, the stuff that they put their heart and soul into. And what we are is basically a space for artistic people, for creators. We've hosted stand-up comedy. We've done art gallery shows and magic show. We've had a magic show. We do festivals. There's a municipal lot out behind our building. We permit it sometimes for big festivals and big events. And we're just all about lifting up and giving local artists an opportunity to share the gifts that they have with the community here in our area. And now, with us being syndicated, now there's an opportunity for some of these local artists to get a national ear. So we're excited about that.
Because we've got a lot of talent in our area.
Yeah, we really do. I like the Rooster because it's a small, intimate venue that you can come to. I was able to see one of my favorite bands here at last year's Brewstock Festival, Psycho Stick, and it was just awesome. I brought my best friend and his wife with me, and we had a blast. We got to get up front right up front to Psycho Stick and played the kazoos on all this. It was great. It was just a good fun time, and that's what you get to have here is a great time.
It definitely is.
And I don't mean to sound hyperbolic when I say this because it's true. I mean, we literally are helping people make their dreams come true. We've given people their first ever live performance in front of an audience. We've given opportunities to people that are too young to perform at other venues. And that's a big sticking point with me is that we keep this an all ages venue. So we allow, if you've got kids that are into music, you can bring them to shows. In fact, if they're under 10 years old, they get in for free.
And my favorite thing are the kid mosh pits. Those are the best.
Yeah. And we host an array of events. We have everything. Like we've had heavy metal, R&B, hip hop. Like I said before, comedy. Any genre of music. I'm working on a jazz show coming up in December, so that's going to be fun. But my goal with the Rooster, and it always was to be a steward for the arts community, to be a place where people can kind of get their bones, get their sea legs under them, and learn how to be a professional performer. And that leads me right into a big announcement that we're making here about our open mic. Yeah. So we host an open mic every Wednesday. It's from 7 to midnight. It's open to anybody. We've had poets, we've had comedians, we've had full bands, from jazz bands to metal bands, hip hop performers, anything you can
Young
think
and
of.
old.
Yeah, young, old. If you can get in front of people and do it, you can do it here at the open mic. And we had a slow start at first, but then we brought in Jade Moore, who is a fantastic, awesome, talented female here in the Charlotte area. And for the last 2 years, she's been hosting our open mic, and we've given the stage up to so many talented people. And she's now moving on from our open mic. She will be cutting a record. She got an opportunity, an offer to make her own record. It'll be her first time putting a record together. Couldn't be happier for her. Mm-hmm. And she epitomizes what we do here at the Rooster. It's like, that's exactly what we want people to use this place to get to the next level.
Yeah.
And, it's, for me, it's heartbreaking. It's sad to see her go. We have a friendship, we have a bond, I love her to death. And now she's moving on. So for me, it's a bit bittersweet. But it also opens the door for an opportunity for a new person to come in, or more people to come in and host this open mic and start honing that skill. And I guess now's as good a time as any to let people know that we're replacing her with not one, but two artists. So we're going to alternate open mics between Mr. Trace Casanova and Mr. Kenan Knight. Now, for those who don't know, Trace is a young, super talented artist. He's multi-talented. The guy does theater.
He's amazing.
He does comedy.
He is.
He does music. He can do crooning. He can do like.
He's got the charisma of a young Jack Black.
Young Frank Sinatra.
That
even.
too.
Yeah.
His attitude, just the way he's like, boom. Yeah.
Yeah, and this is a great opportunity for him because he's all over the place doing so many different things.
Yeah.
Now he's got a place he can come every other week, and if he wants to work something out on stage, he can do it here.
Oh, he can, and he has.
Yeah, he has.
He will.
And he will. And he will. He's so entertaining.
Yeah, and then Kenan, he's on the other end of that spectrum. He's been doing it for decades.
Yeah.
Kenan is one of the most talented drummers I've ever seen, but he's also a singer-songwriter. Mm-hmm. He gets up and plays the guitar and sings these heartfelt, warm songs. And Kenan has a way of kind of getting an audience captivated with his presence. He's got this open, loving energy that kind of is magnetizing. It just kind of draws you into him, makes you want to have a conversation with the guy. And one of the things I like most about Kenan is every time he performs, and I don't know if this is intentional or if he just can't help himself, but he always wants to tell you the story of the song before he plays
I love
it.
his stories.
And I absolutely love that about Kenan. So that's exciting news, but it just goes to show what this place can do for people. We've been a part of Jade's career, and I'm very proud to have been a part of that, and I can't wait to see where she goes. And now we're bringing in two more guys, and I can't wait to see what happens with these guys.
Yeah.
I know there's a expiration date on Trace. I know at some point he's going to be moving on as well. My hope is that we can hold on to Kenan as long as he can do it, because we love this man. But we'll see what happens there. So that's what the Rooster is. It's an art space. It's a place for anybody, everybody. And you can see a little bit of our background if you're watching us on YouTube.
There's art everywhere.
Yeah, there's art everywhere in this place, and most of it came from local artists.
Yeah.
And we're very proud of that.
Yeah.
And but going forward, what you're going to hear us talking to local artists, promoting the shows that they're doing. This isn't a typical we don't have an outline or a certain way we do things here. There's no it's not like a form letter where we're just asking the same questions every week. We kind of just have conversations with people.
It's organic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's an organic conversation. What you got, Ron?
Yeah, I was just gonna say it's a conversation. You get to know a little bit more about the band that's playing, whichever band that we're talking to that week. You may find out what movies they like, what they do in their free time, what inspired them to become musicians, and some of the inspirations that they have are interesting, and you may not have even seen that coming from some of them.
Well, that's one of the things I love is working backstage with the bands and getting to know them. The more they play here, the easier it is for me to, be like, hey, let's ask this question, and, be able to get more in depth with them.
Yeah, that was always the intention of Rooster Radio was, I said early on, the way I would sell it to people was, it's the intention with Rooster Radio is to deepen the connection between an artist and the audience.
Yeah.
The idea is you listen to an episode of the podcast and you get to know this person a little bit as your neighbor, not just as someone performing.
Yeah.
And you create a personal connection, and maybe they've got an experience that's similar to something you've experienced, and they've got a song about that, and then you hear that song, and the next thing you know, you're like, wow, man, here's somebody that I can relate to wholly, and man, this song really hits home for me, and it helps you get through that thing, or it helps you have a different perspective or point of view of how you might have felt about something, and now you have a better way of looking at it, or whatever the case may be.
And then you can go talk to them after the show and deepen that connection and get to know them better, and then the next thing you know, you're a fan.
It's crazy because you can watch the episode and almost feel like you become their friend through the episode, even though you're not there in the seat with them. You can then listen to the music and find something that speaks to you. And then, like you just said, after the show, you can actually become their friend.
Yeah, you get to talk to them, go to their shows, see where they're playing next. And next thing you know, you've got a friend and they've got a fan.
Yep.
And then you can say that you knew them before they got famous.
That part.
That's right.
That part.
There's a few that come through here that we've had on our stage that have been to our open mics. There's a handful that I could definitely see, hitting it big time. But that's not. It shouldn't really be the goal for artists. I tell people all the time, if your goal is to be rich and famous, then you're doing it for the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
There's millions of people that have made a great living doing music, doing art, doing something creative, and we have no idea who they are.
Yeah.
Think about people that score movies. Does anyone know who scores movies?
I know some. Howard Shore did Lord of the Rings.
Of course you know that one.
And John Williams is the greatest.
Occasionally, it really depends on the music in the movies. I'll look at it and see.
Yeah, I know Trent Reznor scored a few movies, so that's kind of cool. But my point is, you can have an awesome career in the creative space and not be rich and famous.
Yeah,
and make plenty of money.
Yeah.
And that's kind of that. If that's where your heart's at, if that's where your head's at, then, and you're doing it for the right reasons, and those are the people I really like working with, because we're not really big on ego here.
No. No.
And Ariel can speak firsthand. Ariel, she's our stage manager, which means she's in charge of the back of the house.
Yeah.
So she's manning the green room, making sure artists got what they need, but also managing the green room and managing the
I get
artists.
paid to babysit
Your band
adults.
Mom. Your band mom.
I am band mom. And there are quite a few that, even outside of this space, I've gotten to know that for almost mom-like questions, they message me. And it's interesting. I'm like, wait, don't you have your own mom? But I'll fill in. That's all right.
Yeah.
But I had to keep them under control.
And I know it's kind of an old throwback way of doing things, having like an MC, having a stage manager. But really, for me, it's important because it creates this other layer of this onion that is the Rooster, of something that no one else does.
Nobody else locally does it.
Yeah, and Ariel does a really good job of motivating people to get up out their seat. And
I yell at them. That's all I do.
Well, I was saying motivate.
Hey, it is what it is. Motivate, yell.
But she's got she's got a way about her that kind of sets a tone where it's like, hey, we're here to have a good time. Get up at your seat. Let's have a good time and dance. And for me, it's amazing. I love looking out into this room. It's a small room, but it's not too small, but you look out and you see people with these big cheesy smiles on their faces. They're
they have
singing
fun.
along, they're dancing, they're moving, and that really makes me the happiest, especially when there's kids. And when you get kids in here and they're up dancing around, that's the best.
Yeah.
And we've seen love connections here. We've seen bands form here.
Yes.
We've seen guys that come, like complete and total strangers, will come to a few open mics, see each other, start talking. 2 months later, they got a band and they're ready to play.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're bringing their full band to open mic. And it's such a great community here, and I couldn't be happier. It's not without its risks and faults and drawbacks. It's not all peaches and roses here. It's been a struggle since day one, but man, it's been so rewarding to watch some of these people grow, some of these artists grow. There's also a dark side to that. We've seen some people fall on their face. We've seen some people, have turned their negative energy toward what we do, and that's unfortunate. But we really don't focus on or acknowledge that much.
Nope.
We see it and we kind of move on. We're all about moving forward and celebrating art here. What you got, Ron?
So one of the things that I was going to say is one of the guys that comes to open mic on occasion is Travis Rainwater. He goes to my church, and he's in the praise team. We had practice last night, and I was talking to him about it. And one of the things that he said that he likes about the Rooster is that other open places have open mic, but it's like sometimes they might have it for a little bit and then cancel it, or it's like once a month or something. But every Wednesday, it's consistent.
Yeah, I'm big on consistency.
It's consistent, but at the same time, it's not consistent because we don't know what's going to go up on that stage.
But that's the beauty of it.
I know.
Yeah, that's what's awesome about it is you just never know what you're going to get on that stage. You know, and I try really hard to keep our calendar, like our weekend shows, our concerts, Thursday, Sunday show. I try to keep it diverse. You know, we lean a little more toward rock and roll because there's just so much of it.
It's a big community.
It's a much bigger community than other genres of music around here. But we do a little bit of everything, and I try to make sure every month we've got at least two or three shows that are something different.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we do the tribute stuff from time to time, and I do enjoy them. However, I prefer the original stuff.
Well, that's something that we do that I really love. The fact that you do that is you always try to find a local band as opening support or an individual artist as opening support for the tribute bands.
Yeah.
To introduce, hey, you're here to see them, but you know what? Let's show you these people.
Yeah, that and my perspective on that is as such is that every time we book a tribute show, we're taking an opportunity out of the hands of someone who's creating something original. And now, don't get me wrong, I'm not pooing on tribute or cover bands because they're awesome.
Yeah.
They're so much fun. How much fun is it to get in here and just sing along to some of your favorite songs by one of your favorite bands? Everyone loves that.
I like people watching.
Yeah, but even when we do book tribute bands, 9 times out of 10, I try to get an opener in here that's somebody local that can do a little bit of their own stuff as well as some covers, and it's always fun. You know, it's a great opportunity. Then they're hanging out for the night. They're getting to experience the show.
Right.
You know, I can't tell you how many times we've brought somebody in here and they've come up to me at the end of the night and been like, "Michael, I just want to thank you so much. This is the first time my kid got to see me play."
Yeah.
I hear that so often, and man, it makes my heart melt because I think about how, you know, I want my daughter to be proud of me, you know.
Right.
You know, I want her to see me shine and be proud of her daddy, and so that's a really cool thing that you get here that you don't get at other places.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I think is nice too, is that you actually get to have the band's kids come and see them play, and that they don't, like you said, they don't get that really anywhere else, because most of the places that you're going to play, my friend, he's in a band, and his younger siblings don't really get to go to a lot of the places they go to because it's bars, it's certain areas where it's, you know, 21 up or 18 up, and they don't get to see their brother and sister, because they're a brother and sister duo that kind of have a band together, and they don't get to see them play.
I know some things I love especially if you've got one of those kids that's very outgoing, and I'll be like, "Hey, come here," and then you know, if they're really into it, I'll pull them up on stage, let them introduce it, especially if it's their first time seeing their parent on stage, and say, "You want to introduce them?" I love doing that. I love getting the kids involved. Or, hey, you see all these people? Get them out of the seats. Like, give the kids a mission. I love giving them purpose to be here. Yeah,
make them feel important.
Right.
Yeah. It's a cool thing that we got going here, and you know, it's weird being in the position that I'm in. You know, this was all my idea, and you know, I I never wanted to be in front of this. I always wanted to be behind the scenes. But it turns out you got to work really hard to promote yourself.
Yeah, you do.
And so, and you know, like I said earlier, we're coming up on 200 episodes of this show.
Yeah.
You know, please don't go back and listen to the first few dozen. I had no idea what I was doing.
Yeah, because I wasn't producing the first few dozen.
Right.
That's right. That's what it is.
Or you could just see the growth.
Yeah, or you could just see the growth.
Yeah, it took me a very long time to get comfortable in front of this microphone, but I'm glad I did it. And it's got nothing to do with performance. I still to this day I don't care about getting up and performing. But what it's done is it's just made this experience so much richer.
Yeah.
By forcing me to have these conversations with these people.
Yeah.
You know, like I don't get me wrong. It's not like I'm a quiet
You're not
person.
quiet by any means.
I'm pretty verbose, but I don't public attention isn't my thing.
Yeah.
But sitting in this chair and forcing myself to have conversations and get to know people has made me a better friend to people. It's made me a better husband. It's helped me articulate. You know,
Be
what
a
I'm
better
saying?
listener.
Yes, that too. Yeah. You learn really quick not to step on people's words when you start listening back to yourself.
Yeah. You're like, ooh.
One of the things I want to touch on is not only do we put on great shows, we have shows that go towards great causes too.
Yes.
Thank you for bringing that up.
Yes, bravo.
Again, I'm trying really hard to walk the line here of not like thumping my chest.
But you've done a lot
Let him
of
do it
good
for
for a lot of good organizations with Rooster Olympics, with the Carolina Headbangers Ball, and many things. Because what
there's
you
so
raised,
many.
what?
Yeah, let's talk about it,
Yeah.
man. I do it all the time. Well, we can talk about some of the things we've. Okay, so Rooster Olympics that happened back in May, and so what that is it's every year. We've done it 3 years in a row. It's a fundraiser for Webb Street School. Now, Webb Street School is a school here in Gaston County that serves the community of individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities. So these are children that really don't have a place to fit in. You know, you can't. They don't have the capacity to go through your typical school system. So this school was put together and open to serve that community. And every year we do Rooster Olympics. It's kind of a play on Special Olympics. So we have games involved. We have live music. We do raffles. We have vendors. And every bit of money that we take in from that, besides the bar sales, so all of the ticket money, all the vendor money, all the raffle money, we donate back to that school because that school is still publicly funded. So and with that demographic always needs more than the average kid. So they're always in need of some sort of equipment or some sort of renovation or some project they're working on that they just don't have the funds. So we do that fundraiser. And over 3 years, we've raised over $21,000 for this school.
Yeah.
And we're very proud of that. But that's just one thing.
That's one.
That's one. In December, our Christmas party every year, we do a toy drive. And the toy drive is for Hope United Survivors Network, which is a nonprofit organization that manages the domestic violence shelter here in Gaston County. But not only that, they serve other at-risk people in our community. So we've had so many toys donated to these drives that they've actually been able to not just service the domestic violence shelter, but other aspects of their business, other families that come to them for help. So again, very, very proud of that. What you got, Ron?
I just wanted to say that one of the things with this place is your vision behind it, which is there's a show for everybody at the Rooster. You just keep tabs on the events page on the roostergastonia.com, and you'll find something that you'll enjoy. But you truly do care about the community here in our town, and it shows. I mean, it also shows with the Save the Rooster that happened. The community came together to save this place because they love this place, because it has made an impact in their lives, and it continues to do so.
Yeah.
I know there's ups and downs with everything. That's just with life, but I think all in all, it's a great venue, and it's unique in that sense.
I appreciate that very much, man. I really do.
Yeah.
What else have we done? We do. We're hosting the Carolina Vet Fest.
Yep.
Where that's a fundraiser for Positive Action Service Animals, and that's another nonprofit organization. And their mission is to pair service animals with disabled veterans at no cost to their family. So, and you know, some people might scoff at that, but you have no idea how much of a difference that can make in a
Service dogs are expensive, period.
Yeah, how the difference that can make in somebody's life,
Right.
specifically disabled veterans. It's a community that's grossly underserviced.
Yes.
Don't get me started.
Yeah.
But so they do it, and that's what our Carolina Vet Fest is for. That's a fundraiser for them. We've hosted a couple different cancer benefits for individuals that found out that they had cancer and needed some help. So we've done that.
We did it for we did several for Hurricane Helene, including Misfit Market jumped in for that too. We've done.
We filled up a U-Haul.
Food drives. Yeah, we filled up a U-Haul.
Yeah, we filled up a U-Haul with donations to victims of Hurricane Helene. We were able to raise enough money to provide generators to a handful of families that were just so far up in the mountains that they had no way of getting power to them.
Yeah.
So, you know, I guess what I'm trying to say is, like, I'm always happy to help where we can. The Rooster Olympics and the toy drive are two things that are kind of closest to my heart, and then other people have brought things to me that are close to their heart. And when I can see that love and passion in their eyes where they really want to help, I'm always open to doing that, because that's how I feel about the fundraisers that I organize.
Yeah, exactly. That's and Wet Hot Punk Rock Summer is school drive.
Yeah,
or school supply
that's
drive.
Right. Yeah, the Wet Hot Punk Rock Summer Show coming up is kind of a Vans Warped Tour vibe thing. So, emo, alternative rock and stuff, and we're asking people to bring school supplies to donate for some underprivileged kids here in the community. So, we're always open for opportunities to raise money for a good cause.
Definitely, and it just shows the community puts in, we give it back.
Well, we're running short on time here, but I will say the reason why I'm so open to these kind of things is like opening the Rooster, building this place, opening our doors to this community was always about community.
Yeah.
There's 1,000 different reasons why. People ask me all the time, why the Rooster? Why'd you do this? And it's like, it's too long of a conversation to have. There's so many reasons why. But one of the biggest motivating factors was I took a look at the world around me, and it was very, I wasn't very happy with what I was seeing. Back in 2018, 2019, there was a lot of negative discourse in their community. What I saw people that I knew, people that I loved, people I respected, people I appreciated. I saw them kind of scatter into these ideological bubbles. Mm-hmm. And I stopped seeing community. Everybody was kind of on edge. And then COVID came, and COVID shut the world down, and then people got even further away from each other. And I felt like the Rooster was something that I could do to make the community around me a better place. Say what you want about that, but that's really the heart behind the mission here. And at the end of the day, I could care less if we ever make a profit. I only care that we keep the doors open so that we can keep providing community to people here in Gaston County.
And that right there is why most people who come here, bands, musicians, always say that this place feels like home.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. So welcome to the family. WDRB crowd. I appreciate you listening to us this week. Like I said, the rest of the episodes will be interviews. They won't be me just, running my mouth about how awesome we are.
Yeah, it will. Yeah, it will.
Trust me, I'm actually kind of humble.
He is.
But we gotta let the people know, and that's why we're here. So thank you to WDRB for bringing us on and syndicating us. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching on YouTube. And we look forward to getting to know some of you and seeing you all here at shows. And please drop some comments if you're watching or listening on one of the apps. Peace and love.